Hey there, Orlando here with another contemplation of the jinkies that are transiting us in this moment. So when I'm recording this video, uh, these are the last hours of the 22nd jinkies and the 47th jinkies transit. So why I'm doing these contemplations is to transmit the message of these two jinkies and how I perceived it in this moment, in this time, in this in this period of time. So this is about how sincere we are with us, and of course, indirectly with others, and directly. Um, if we are not truthful with us, we may go into overreacting mode, into illusion mode, into uh, uh, into like a torture scenario. Yeah. So our mind can really put us into a torture scenario because I know you know this, or maybe if you don't, here it is. Yeah, if we think about something, our body reacts as if it was true. So if our mind puts us into a fearful scenario, then all the chemicals inside of us that are meant for these kind of scenarios are, you know, are pouring in us. So it doesn't really need to happen. You know, the torture that doesn't really need to happen. Uh, it is in our heads most of the times. This is because of the shadow of oppression, the 47th Jinki, and the 22nd Jinki's programming partner. So if we are not sincere with us, that the 22nd Jinki invites us, we get into those torture scenarios that are, even if they are not really happening, they are true to us because our body reacts to this. So if we get this, and if we think about this at a society level, not on our level, we torture ourselves by in the past. If we torture ourselves physically, now we torture ourselves mentally. You know, uh, it's like bullying, but not physical bullying. Sometimes maybe physical, but in this society, in our society, the torture right now is mostly mental. And graciousness for me is about being really good, not authentic good, not good for a purpose, but to really feel good and to transmit this goodness to others, this goodwill to others. And this is what I feel it is missing in our society. Yeah, well, we aren't really good one with another because we were taught to be competitive one with another. You know, be fearful of another person. It may take your job, or it may take your family, your wife, your husband, and you know, and uh, this created, of course, a society of fearful people. of people that are tormenting themselves, are torturing themselves in their head. Yeah, wow. What will happen if that person will take my job, or maybe that one will take my wife or my husband or my, and if we feel this fear and we transmit it to others, then what we are going to do is make things worse. Because fear is good, but when fear is exaggerated, it creates responses in our body that makes us more weak. Like immunity. If one is in a fight or flight situation, uh, the immune system of that person is not functioning properly, because all of the resources in the body are going to living through that perceived or real situation, that threat, perceived or real threat, and so the immune system goes down. uh, and in these times, in this period, I don't know when you are watching this video. I hope things went well. We have this virus that is spreading through the world, and of course, maybe fear can arise. But what we are doing by spreading this fear around, like the media does, and is making things worse. We're tormenting, the shadow oppression. We're tormenting ourselves uh, because we are fearful, and we don't know what to do with that fear. And if we have a society of this kind of people, these kind of people are very easy to manipulate, to because how you manipulate people like that, make them fearful, so this is how we dishonor ourselves, when we forget who we are and we forget our power, and we are becoming real fearful of the outside. The outside may pose a threat, but if that threat is continuous, then it will damage our body, because if we perceive the outside as a threat, a continuous threat, it won't be good. And I was in that position 15 years ago, when I ended up in hospital with this kind of syndrome, where I was very fearful of everything, and doctors wouldn't know what to do but pump medicine in me to to sedate, because I couldn't really breathe. I didn't know how to breathe. So I really understand this process, and how it can damage the body. So from that period until now, and of course in the future, what I'm doing is healing myself from the damage that was done in that period. It lasted like 6 months to a year, continuous. So be truthful to yourself, and ask yourself, am I perceiving reality objective, or through a very powerful emotion? Because the 22nd gene key is an emotional gene key, is a very powerful emotional gene key. If you know a little bit of human design, the 22nd gene key is a manifesting, key or gate, as it is said in. So it's very powerful. It has the power to manifest. It has the power to go to the throat and get out in the world. So if in the world, if the world or if people emit goodwill, graciousness, then we create a society of graciousness. But if we emit fear, um, reactions, or I don't know, other powerful emotions from this powerful jinki, this is what the world. This is the world that we create. But by what we manifest in the now. So ask yourself, what am I manifesting in the now? Even if you suffer, even if you want to react, even if one person maybe angered you, or I don't know, I don't know how to say it in English. Maybe that person did something and you don't trust that person anymore. Like cheating. Yeah, the famous cheating that you know. So if we ask ourselves, what am I emitting right now? Without forcing ourselves, without forcing the answer, without forcing the outcome of what we do, it's sufficient. Because this is how we self-regulate ourselves. By being conscious. If we are conscious and that we emit mostly, I'm going to use bad juju, then we create an environment of oppression for ourselves, and of course for others. We create, from what we emit. If we are capable of being gracious in the face of adversity, then the gift of transmutation comes. Yeah, graciousness and transmutation. If we are gracious with ourselves, first with ourselves, yeah, and then with others, then we create the proper soil to grow, to really grow, to grow through alchemy, and then we transform. We transform from a seed to a beautiful plant or tree, metaphorically, of course. So if we plant the seed of graciousness, then what grows from that is gracious. And of course, we attract people that are gracious in our life. If what we put out is fear or jealousy or possessiveness or guilt, then this, or distrust, this is what we receive. Yes, so it's really a one-way trip, or not a one-way trip. We don't have really a choice in this life. Yeah, we have to be accountable for what we emit, because what we emit, creates the environment. So as my life partner told me yesterday, and I really liked this example, so thank you, Anna, for giving me this example. It's like, this is an example from a TV show, The Good Place, where a bartender said to the lady that consumed some drinks, hey, you can cry, you can struggle, you can be like a child, you can suffer, you can do anything, but you really have to pay the bill. So we all have to pay the bill. So what are you emitting right now? Maybe if you are watching this video, uh, maybe you are emitting mostly graciousness in the outside world. Yeah. So maybe you are on the road to transform yourself. To really feel your power, to feel the power in this body and beyond this body. To feel how um, grace really changes us, changes our face. The cities of grace and transfiguration, changes our body. Um, I took a course in face reading, Alpha Rasa style. Very good course. The founder came to Bucharest last autumn, and we studied how uh, by how our facial structure changes because of what happens in our life, and how the muscles are making this happen, and why our eyes maybe go, being bigger or being smaller, or having shapes, and of course the eyebrows and the head, and the ears and the jawline, everything. So we transform also physically when we transform mentally, and we aren't really in the victim state. The victim doesn't want to pay the bill. No one who is a victim or a persecutor or a savior doesn't really want to pay the bill. Yeah, the savior maybe wants to pay the bill, but wants to pay the bill by saving other people, and those people didn't really ask for help. And the savior says, I know what is best for you, so I'm going to do it. And of course the savior gets you know beat down by the situation, and ends up suffering, ends up a victim or a persecutor. Yeah. So victim doesn't want to pay the bill, but life comes with this bill. you know and what these two jinkies are saying is, accept what comes in your life with as much graciousness you can. Of course there are situations when we are overcome by what happened, and of course we have to take our time. But if we have this lucidity in ourselves, if we are truthful, the suffering will go away, and lucidity takes over, and we can really see things as they are, and then we stop torturing ourselves, and we start transforming, we start transfiguring, we start the process to heal. So this is a message of, please stop the torture, because if one is torturing another, that person is also torturing himself or herself. Let's stop blaming other people. Let's stop trying to change other people. Let's start accepting ourselves and all of our desires, wishes. We have some strange desires because they are not really ours. They just, we pick them up and they come through us. And really have to make peace with that, because if we reject that, we reject, then we try to block energy. So if we accept everything that life is giving us, uh, we really can transmute what life gives us. Yeah, it's like we are a factory, and the information, the desires, the the emotion that comes is like the material that that factory needs, to produce some lovely products. So I invite you to be truthful to yourself. Are you torturing yourself r- right now, or most of the time, mentally? Do you say to yourself, I am stupid, I am bad, why am I thinking my I you know I am I am. If you are torturing yourself and not accepting that you are a human being that just is imperfect and perfect in the same time, if you don't accept that, it will be very hard. You torture yourself, and of course, you'll torture your family. It's like, I'm going to give you an example. It's like one of the spouses that has these desires to, uh, to have sex with another. Yeah. So if that spouse doesn't make peace with that and doesn't own that desire, and says, I shouldn't really feel this, and try to shove that feeling, yeah, that person will torture himself or herself, and will torture the other spouse indirectly, because how can the two have a good sex life if one of them is blocking energy in that area and is torturing himself or herself, in that area? It really can't be done. So we have to be truthful and not judge ourselves. Judgment can't help us, won't help us, but accepting, yes, will do. So whatever you feel, whatever emotion you feel, accept it, own it. If you project it into the outside, you'll pay the bill. It's like, you are really mad and you take, I don't know, something like a steel rail, or I don't know how to put it in English, or a baseball bat. You take a baseball bat and you start, batting the cars that are around you. You'll pay the bill. Yeah, you'll pay the bill for your anger. But if you know what to do with that anger, if you know how to transmute it, if you know how to accept that anger, and you let that anger motivate you into doing gracious things, then there wouldn't be a bill, but life will reward you. Because you put graciousness, you put goodwill, and of course, life will, by grace, will give you goodwill. This is why people that are choosing bad ways, I'm putting quotes, bad, good or bad, uh, they pay the price for that. People that choose to be gracious, not really good or bad, but gracious, to do things with love, to do things through love, to do things, to support themselves and others, to support the whole, get get rewards. And mm, uh, one may even judge himself or herself. If I know I'm going to get a reward, maybe it won't be authentic, and it's okay, because you won't know how life will reward you. You if you wish money, maybe life will give you a partner. If you wish a partner, maybe life will give you money. No, life knows best. Yeah. So I wish you to have gracious days, weeks, and a gracious year. And let's heal ourselves by stopping the torture and giving way to graciousness. Bye bye.